I'm just going to stop at some point. I'm just going to hit stop recording.
At what point?
Why are you threatening that?
When I get tired. It's 8:30.
Okay, well, we'll just stop now. We'll do it at a different time.
Well, it's just like, well... How much do we have planned? Do you know?
Well, there's nothing planned. This is what we do every time.
Well, we're starting like 2 hours later than usual.
Okay, well then we're starting late. So if you don't want to do it, then don't do it.
I just don't know how long I want to commit right now.
Well, you're going to be in for at least an hour and a half.
It's like a 40-hour ride back. 40-minute.
Okay.
That puts me like midnight.
Okay, well, an hour and a half would be 10, so it'd be like 10:40, 10:50.
Okay, yeah, I guess
11.
Well, let's just make the show an hour.
Okay.
Or is it just let's just keep it tight. Like I said.
Can we do it tight? That's all I'm asking.
All right, let's do it tight. I'm used to doing it loose.
Yeah, we want snapback.
You don't want snapback. You just want it to be rammed in. You don't want... Okay.
Okay, yeah, no seconds. How are we starting this bitch?
The fruit. The brute and the fruit. The brute.
The fruit and the fruit.
All right, this is the Brute and the Fruit.
Hey.
And this is Pride Month. And so this is my show tonight.
Burger's taking the reins of the show. It's
That's
his
right.
month.
Mm-hmm.
Because we fully support the LGBTQIA plus community.
XYZ, M and a P.
Thank you. That
Please-
includes
please don't be
apostrophes, that includes
insulting.
pluses, that includes asterisks.
I did read a
ampersands.
new version though. LGBTQ2S plus.
Okay.
I think the two apparently stands for Two Spirit.
Two spirit?
Yeah.
Does that mean... What does that mean? That means they have two spirits?
I don't know what it means. I was hoping you could explain that to us since it's your episode.
I think that might mean that they are... have multiple personalities. They might be schizophrenic.
Well, according to Wikipedia, Two-Spirit is a modern pan-Indian umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people and their communities.
And are they part of the LGBTQ community?
I guess so.
Okay.
There's a lot of people in the community. It seems like there's a lot of bases being covered in the community.
Two-Spirit refers to a person who identifies as having both a masculine and feminine spirit.
Okay.
So they can like channel it at any time?
And it is used by some indigenous people to describe their sexual, gender, and or spiritual identity. It doesn't have to do even with sex or gender now. Well, this one.
Yeah, it seems really weird. It's like this whole thing is encompassing a lot more than what it used to. Like when I was young, it was like the gays and the lesbians and the bisexuals.
Okay.
And then I remember going to a parade when I was like 20. And that's what it was. But then also you would see people dancing around naked and like riding their bikes naked in the street. And you'd be like, wait a minute. I'm not sure. What does this have to do with anything? And now, so everything gets expanded so much that there's just like, there's the transgender, there's the, fuck it, I forget, I lost it.
Well, queer and questioning.
There's hold on, here. There's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, two-spirit, there you go.
Intersex.
Queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, ally. So if you're if you're a friend of a homosexual or of any of these people.
then
that's
we're in it
including-
too.
It's including everyone. And
It's
everyone-
including-
We're part of it. We're allies.
Yeah.
It's including everybody except for people who don't like this stuff. So it's like it's including anybody who's
So now you need a new
religious.
one that's just for actually gay people.
yeah. Okay.
Because now us allies are in here.
Yeah. And then there's pansexual, agender, genderqueer, bigender, gender variant, and pangender, whatever that means.
Pangender, two-spirit, and intersex are ones I don't really understand.
Yeah.
I should know more. Can you fill us in? Like you're on top of that, right?
Well, I haven't really kept up with it as much because I don't care.
Well, we're trying to be respectful.
Well, you might be, but I'm not.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. So they do LGBTQ plus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's QIA.
There's
plus.
also a Disney Plus and ESPN Plus.
That's
Yep.
right.
There are many pluses.
Because in the title they don't want to include everything, so they put plus as a replacement for all the other letters.
Yeah. It was getting long.
So why don't? But that's the thing. It's like they try to include everybody in the stuff, but it's like why don't? Who's all included in the plus?
Well, us,
Everyone.
We're
It's an
allies.
ally. If they're covering allies,
Right. But
right.
But why can't we
Well,
do?
maybe ally is actually a sexual thing.
Why can't we do LG plus? It's like at what point?
You know, you probably could do that.
Right, but now we have to name all the. I'm just saying it's like it's offensive.
How
to
many
people.
more? Yeah, because then you're saying like the people who get their own letter are kind of better than the people who are in the plus.
There you go. That's right. So here we go. Lesbian, gay. We know all this stuff. Bisexual. Transgender. Transgender is an umbrella term. This is from okaytobeme.ca. I guess that means California. Bisexual. Well, hold on. We'll go to transgender. Transgender is an umbrella term for people whose gender identity differs from what is typically associated with the sex they were assigned at birth. It is sometimes abbreviated to trans. Okay. Transsexual. Experience a gender identity inconsistent or not culturally associated with the sex that they were assigned to at birth. So it's like these things are so thin. Like the definitions between transgender and transsexual are thin.
Oh, they're using both of those?
Yes. Yep. Two-spirit, here you go. This is what you were talking about. Two-spirit is a modern umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe gender variant individuals in their communities, specifically people within indigenous communities who are seen as having both male and female spirits within them.
Well, it's kind of
It
like
sounds like a schizophrenic.
But it's a schizophrenic specific to the Native American Indian community.
it's spiritual, but also this reminds me of
spiritual. My ass. Like, is this person just randomly going? Right now, my inner spirit is a female, and now my inner spirit's a male. Like,
And who are you to say otherwise?
But I'm saying like I just feel like it's so convoluted. Like, isn't that just because if it's just about their spirit, it means like on the outside they're still Joe,
Right.
or Jane,
And at the same time, there's no evidence that a spirit is a real thing.
right? So it's just someone in their head going like, right now I'm thinking about myself as if I'm a woman.
Mhm.
Right now, now I'm thinking about myself as a
Well,
man.
that's,
with a big old
that's
swinging
gender
dong.
fluid.
Yeah.
Right, I feel like that's just that's one of these other
Are you
terms.
saying there's something wrong with being gender fluid?
No, what I'm saying
I-
is that this idea the definition of it is convoluted.
Yeah, I mean that one just kind of.
Like
There's so many
that'd be like me
terms.
going like, I'm an energy storer. It's like, no, you're
Yeah.
fat.
Well, you could be both. These are like fun.
But look at all that energy you're storing.
I see them as like different names for similar things, maybe kind of the same thing, but you get to decide what name you want to use. It's like names for weed. It's weed. There's all these different strains. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, but there are people who can. I guess there are people who can tell the difference between two spirits and schizos.
But let me read this again, just briefly. Two-spirit is a modern umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans
Here's
to
where the
describe...
umbrella term thing is confusing me.
Umbrella terms are
Two spirit is two different types of liquor in one drink.
There you go. That's like me. I just combine whatever leftover liquors that I have laying around in my room, and I combine them into one, mix it with some Coke Zero, and then I call that two-spirit.
Okay.
But no, I mean, if you think about it, it just doesn't... So that's one for Native Americans. So then do you have to have... That's a spiritual thing. It's like, how far do you have to expand that umbrella? That's for somebody who's Native American, is the two-spirit thing that exists in this LGBTQ plus community. Anyhow.
So when do I feel like the polyamorous Mormons got to have a letter in here at some point?
Nope, because their religion is too close to Christianity.
But
that's
are
spiritual.
Mormons polyamorous though?
Well, the ones-
Polygamy. Polygamy is the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
Polyamorous is a little more like
No,
along
different.
the lines of the LGBTQ plus community.
I'm getting my terms
Polygamous.
mixed up. Please,
Yeah.
please.
Polygamous, I think, is
Polygamous
the word.
is the Mormon term where
Yeah.
a man has multiple wives,
Right.
but they all service him. As where polyamory is people who are in a couple, but they're in a couple for social. I mean, I won't say only for social appearances, but like maybe they're a married couple or they're partners who live together and they consider themselves boyfriend and girlfriend. But at the same time, they also have side action, maybe multiple
Yes.
side actions.
Kind of like Bill Gates or Bill Clinton. Those.
No, those are
The
philanderers.
elites. They're
I thought they were in
they're
open
full-on
open
rapists.
relationships.
Philanderers.
Yeah. Okay, queer. Queer is an umbrella term, another umbrella term, for sexual and gender minorities that are not heterosexual or cisgender. Queer was originally used pejoratively. Pejoratively.
So they're not heterosexual. And they're
Pejoratively
not,
against those with same-sex desires, but beginning in the
but
late
how come?
1980s.
So then, how come people call themselves queer, but then are in like
Oh, I was looking up. What
they're
queer
in
is.
like a straight relationship?
Right. Well, there's here. This is a.
So when
this-
when queer was pejorative, it was because queer meant strange, and it was something that homosexuals were called by straight people. But now it is an umbrella term for sexual and gender minorities who are not heterosexual or are not cisgender.
Right. Berger just read that.
Yeah.
So
So here's
That's why I was at. That's what I was just asking. Like, if a person labels themselves as queer, but they're in a straight relationship, that's contradictory.
yeah.
Because a cisgender is a cisgender someone that believes that they're
Do you know someone like that or?
A cisgender is somebody who was born, like, say I'm a cis man, meaning that I was born as a man and I still identify as a man. But you have to add cis before so you don't get confused with trans man.
so a queer someone who identifies as queer is
Which you
someone,
couldn't have said 10 years ago or 5 years ago. If you would have said queer, you're a queer, you would have been like, hey, wait a minute, you can't say that. But now
if
queer
someone
has taken on a new
identifies
identity.
themselves as a queer, that means that they are not into the opposite sex
Is it raining?
and they don't identify as the gender they were born as.
Yes.
Okay, so if some
Well, they could also just be not straight sexually.
no, what I'm saying is that I've seen people online call themselves queer, but they're in straight relationships.
So couldn't they be queer, but then also be straight? But I think that would make them bisexual.
Right, they make them bisexual,
Yeah.
but they call themselves queer.
Yeah. It's weird.
So what they either are is A, ill-informed, or B, full of shit.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Okay, you should be confused. Okay, so
Because if they're either bisexual, if it's a sexual thing, or if it's a gender thing, that would make them gender fluid. But so they queer probably wouldn't be the right word.
But if they don't consider themselves they're cisgender, right? So if it's a female and she calls herself queer, but she's in a straight relationship,
Well, yeah, maybe before that she decided
but she
she was a
identifies as a
man.
man.
So then she'd be gender fluid because she switched.
But wouldn't
back.
that be a gay? But if she identifies as a man and she's dating a man, wouldn't that be considered a gay relationship?
I think so.
So that's what I'm saying. If there's a female who
So I guess that would just depend on what her boyfriend thinks. If he considers her a woman or man.
I guess, yeah.
If he considered her a man, then it could be a queer relationship.
Well, no. It doesn't matter what he considers. It's there. I mean, we could consider Elliot Page to always be Ellen Page, but they consider themselves to be a male.
It's a lot to keep up with. If you were open-minded and not so,
I'm trying to stay up. I'm trying to.
we'll
read.
try. Hey, can I? To quote the former First Lady of the United States, "Be better, be better."
Okay.
Okay.
And to also quote the former First Lady of the United States, Donald, please take me from my cage, please. Let me out of my cage, please.
Also, to quote the former First Lady of the United States, "Ouch, my balls."
Bacon, sausage, roll-ups, and chicken cordon bleu bites, and Cheetos, booze, and propane every day. Oh, won't you come to Leon's today?
Okay, so this was a discussion I had. So somebody posted on Facebook, and I couldn't help but to engage. Somebody posted, with Pride Month approaching, a gentle reminder that bi/pan people in hetero or straight passing relationships exist and are not any less valid members of the community.
Okay, so I think...
but that passing relationship thing is really funny to me. That's like, yeah, that relationship's gonna fail.
Here we go. Ready?
That's what they're assuming.
Here we go. Train leaves Cleveland at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
And then another train leaves New Mexico at 2 o'clock.
I'm following.
When do they meet in Kansas? That's what that felt. It felt like a fucking word problem to me, what you just read. Can you reread that, please?
Yes, I will. Okay.
Gentle.
With Pride Month approaching, semicolon, a gentle reminder that /pan people in hetero.
Hold on, is that gentle reminder or genteel reminder? Like
gentle.
Okay, so
just gentle, pure gentle. Gentle reminder that /pan people in hetero parentheses or straight passing parentheses.
Pause. So bisexual. Let's break this down. Bisexual, like a bi. That's what they're saying.
They're like dudes and chicks.
Like they like dudes and chicks at the same time.
And everybody in between? Or no, bi means
now,
two.
what's pan again? A pansexual is someone who doesn't see gender. They just love. They fall for people. Whoever.
Fax machine. We need a
Can you look up pansexual?
We need a real definition on pansexual before we butcher this.
So what I thought is that they're attracted to all genders.
But bi is
not the same.
Because bi means two genders.
I think pansexual has something to do with not seeing.
Well, pansexual expands beyond gender. I don't know.
Can you fuck a goat if you're pan?
No.
Pansexuality
Pansexuality
cook a goat in a pan.
Is sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction towards people regardless of their sex or gender identity. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attractions. So it sounds like...
So what's the difference between bi and pan? Before we move on with the
base word bi means two.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would assume that there's two sexes, but I think there's more than two
What an
genders.
assumption to make.
There's more than two genders if you're being open-minded like a pansexual.
Well,
I've never sucked a girl's dick.
Well, you're not living.
I'm just curious, the statement where it's like bi or pan, where pan it's like you're into someone despite their gender,
Regardless of
regardless
their
of it. But a bisexual is into women and men. So wouldn't that mean that you're into that person regardless of what their sexual orientation is? Right?
Well, pan makes there seem like there's more than the two.
Yeah, that's what pan creates the illusion of.
I don't know.
But it's all based on. But
here, let me look up pan versus bi.
Because if pan feels like that's an umbrella term saying that there are people out there who are attracted to people not based off of
this will clear it all up.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Fax
Bisexuality
machine.
is at its core the attraction to two or more genders, while pansexuality is the attraction to all genders, or regardless of gender.
It's the same thing, right? I mean, it's the same thing.
Like I was saying, there's different names for weed. It's all weed. It's just what name do you like?
But someone who like, what else are like? There's no one who is like, yeah, I'm bisexual.
I'm sorry, that was just WebMD. They probably don't know what they're talking about.
WebMD. Okay, the scientific consensus.
Yeah, the Rolling Stone would know.
I'm just saying, someone's not going to say.
That's about the same as WebMD.
Someone's not going to say, I'm bisexual. I'm into dudes and pansexuals.
Right.
Because you know what I'm saying.
Huh?
So what's the other gender? There's two genders.
No.
They're saying
that's a very wrong thing to say.
No, how's that wrong? I thought that was.
They're saying that.
What's the other what's the third gender?
We don't have names for them yet.
Well, let me find it out. Most cultures use a gender binary having two genders. Those who exist outside those groups.
So that's another weird thing they do is like they say, well, there's a scientific consensus that there's more than two genders.
I'm just saying, I'll understand.
But there's not though.
Women's Health Mag, a comprehensive gender identity list, as defined by experts.
Mm-hmm. Experts, they get paid money to say that there's multiple genders.
Genitalia does not equal gender. Forget about the two-gender binary. That's wrong. Gender identity is on a continuum. Sexuality and gender identity are not the same thing.
Okay, so then what I'm saying is that...
Okay, transgender is one. They're considering that a different one.
So if someone considers themselves... I'm just saying, normally when people describe themselves as bisexual, they're talking about liking men and women. I've never heard of anyone go, yes, I'm bisexual. I'm into chicks and transsexuals.
Right. Yeah, so I think that would make you pan. So I think maybe pan is the attraction to trans people.
But the definition you just read from WebMD said...
WebMD sounds fucked up.
It's WebMD, though. Bisexuals...
Yeah, people look up that
they're
stuff all the time.
They're not the LGBTQIA plus community.
Bisexuals are... people who are attracted to two or more.
I know that was not
genders.
I don't like their description because that sounds like the same thing.
Okay,
but here's the same thing.
Here's some other ones.
Controversial take.
Other than
I'm gonna say it's the same. I'm gonna say pansexual and bisexual are almost a dead wash to me.
Here's a word:
eggshell
pretty
white
much.
and cloud white.
There you go.
Cis shit. CISHET. Cishet. Cishet? Cishet?
Is this French?
Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of cisgender and something.
Oh, cis hetero. Cis het.
Cishet refers to people whose gender identity and biological sex are aligned. Cisgender.
Oh.
And are sexually attracted to the opposite sex.
99.9999% of Earth?
Wait, so cishet and cisgender are the same thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah. It's just it's a mask on a mask.
Well, they're listing it as one of the different genders, but they're both the same thing. God damn it.
I know, isn't it confusing? It's hard to keep up when you're logical.
So in this thing that you're reading here, let's get back to what you were reading.
Okay.
The person is tiptoeing because it says gently, right?
Yes.
Gently a gentle reminder that us bi/pansexual people. So you're basically just saying,
and a gentle reminder is the same way of being like this. With Pride Month approaching, a gentle reminder. Okay, a gentle reminder.
Attention.
Yeah, okay,
Hey,
'cause
everyone.
You're too stupid to understand, but it's okay. It's not your fault
I'm
that you're
still,
stupid.
even though I'm dating someone of the opposite gender or sex, I'm still bi.
Mm-hmm. With Pride Month approaching,
I want you to remember it.
a gentle reminder, okay, for all you idiots, that bi/pan people in hetero parentheses or straight passing parentheses relationships exist. They do exist, okay, and are not any less valid members of the community.
I think the most sad thing there is the passing.
Yeah,
They're in passing relationships.
But here we learn a lot
as
about
if
this.
They're destined to never end on one person. They'll just always be in different relationships.
I don't think that's.
maybe that's what they want.
No. I think by straight passing,
they mean they pass as a straight relationship.
Like the two of them are they're one's like on the outside it looks like it's a male and a female dating, but
straight.
But because one of them is bisexual, pansexual, and the other one is a fucking llama or something.
Okay.
Well, my apologies. As a cishet man, I really need to be more. I need to do better.
Well, I don't blame you. So let me continue. There was the first response to this post was somebody said, "Real talk."
Oh, like that's like a kind of like a testify.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And then
about time someone co-opted this holiday for me.
That's right. And then my response was, "Huh?"
You commented on this?
Uh-huh. And then the person who posted it said, like, I'm still super gay for girls, but I'm in a relationship with a guy, you know? And I said, so bi? And she said, yes, that is my affiliation with the original post.
Okay.
And then she said, I'm not understanding your original question of huh and what it was referring to. And I said, bi/pan people in straight passing relationships. Because that's a very unusual
very
thing to say.
I got passing
very wordy explanation.
It's a lot of words.
Very jargon. It's jargon.
Very jargony. So what she responded to, in a straight passing relationship, I present fairly feminine and my partner is a straight male. So from the outside, it appears the both parties are straight, hence, quote unquote, straight passing. At least that's my understanding of it. And so I said, or no, somebody else said, that's a perfect explanation. Which, of course, to me, I'm like, what the fuck? These words don't make sense to me. Like, I understand the words that are being used, and I understand what they mean.
I'm starting to get it, I feel like.
Okay. So then I said, isn't that just a relationship? I'm confused that it has to be specified in such an odd manner when it's a straight woman and a straight man in a relationship. Which I shouldn't have said it because she said she was bi earlier.
Yeah, you're gonna get yourself in trouble now.
Yeah. So then her significant other responded to me.
Oh.
Which, by the way, these are both very nice people. I like these people. I don't want to speak ill of these people. I'm just relaying my experience with this conversation. Her significant other said, I'd say I'm fluid. I haven't been in a relationship, but have experimented openly. I think he meant to say a relationship with a man. Is that what he was saying?
It would.
I would assume so if he's saying experiment.
Because he said, I haven't been in a
fluid.
relationship, but have experimented openly. We know he's been in relationships with women. We know who this guy is. So what she responded to him, I didn't mean to misrepresent you, BB. Heart emoji.
God.
Yes, then
So
straight
now-
passing is a good representation. And then she says to me, it's about like a level of privilege. This is the exact verbiage.
No.
It's about like a level of privilege that we have in the sense that we don't face as much overt adversity as others in a queer community because we appear completely straight with each other in the eyes of an outsider. Thank you, bisexual Commander Data.
We've got so many words flying around.
Jargon. It's
Jargon. It's word salad.
Oh,
did that make
God.
sense?
It made sense that they're assholes. You know what this sounds
They
like? It
sound
sounds like two
fucking
people.
dudes.
It sounds
who
like
are
fakers.
It's like two people who are co-opting a movement to be cool.
Yes.
They try to be cool, so they have these fucking wordy, bullshitty terms.
It's so
of what
weird
they are
that's what's cool.
Because this chick is totally gay for chicks, which honestly, from a lot of women that you talk to or that you bump into, a lot of them are attracted to other women, or they think other women are pretty or whatever. But like, and I could be completely wrong about this gal. Maybe she does chow tons of box when she's not with this dude. But I'm just saying, like, I bet I could probably say with 95%, I would be 95% positive that she's probably never done anything more than maybe make out with a chick when she was drunk.
Yes.
And so to be like, I'm totally gay for chicks, just means that, yeah, you see a girl and you go, she's pretty. We all
She's
do
a lug.
that. For the dude who's talking about being fluid and experimenting and blah, 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 and then her talking about having privilege and all this other shit, it just shows that 11 months out of the year, you parade around just being like a normal cis couple, and then as the Pride Month comes around, because that's the month to do it, you start to wave a flag saying, "Oh, don't ignore me because everyone else is paying attention to everyone else. You need to pay attention to me."
Me. I'm a person in a straight relationship,
I'm
but
part of this
also I'm not
movement.
straight.
Yeah.
So I should be recognized as part of this community. I just want to let everybody know to recognize me, even though I don't really care. But
Even
like,
though
also,
right
please
now
recognize me.
I'm
Asshole.
not doing anything that
So then-
involves the community, I want to be recognized.
So then, remember, my initial response to the post was, "Huh?" So this is somebody who responded. This response, "Huh," is why this info/reminder exists. This is from some rando.
Okay.
So folks don't assume that everyone lives in convenient little black and white boxes. / don't understand the need for representation of the beautiful array of humanity. Keep on keeping on.
But yet they still feel
Do they know that you're part of the
they
the
still
community?
feel the need to overly describe what they are,
Yes.
even though they feel like it's unnecessary to have any kind of.
They're bi people in a heterosexual relationship, I guess, is what the crux of it was.
No, it's probably a noisy bitch who doesn't know any better than to just fucking virtue signal, and a douchey asshole who pretends that he wants to be gay even though he's not.
Yes.
Because because they think that it's cool,
Or
cool
trendy.
thing to do. It's a trendy thing to do.
Yeah. To me, it's like
fucking.
You've
phony.
already told me that you're both basically bi. Right? That's what she said in that post. They're both basically, so you're trying to double induct yourself into this group.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Eric Clapton going in as Cream, and then also going in as Eric Clapton. It's like,
And also going in as
Hey.
Derek and the Dominoes.
Eric and the Domino. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Which actually I think that's probably.
That's absolutely
yeah.
the case. Yep. Or Ric Flair going into the Hall of Fame as Ric Flair, or as the Four Horsemen, or as Evolution.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you trying to do? You don't need to make that post. You're already in the group. It's like nobody's saying, well, I've completely forgotten about two bisexual people being in a straight relationship with each other. Like, they're not included. Like, nobody's saying that.
Right.
Why are you trying so hard?
Yeah, being included, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It means they
What
want
actually-
attention. It sounds like,
But nothing happens.
It sounds like
Yeah.
they want attention.
They just want somebody to say, real talk.
I mean, that. What do you expect from people? They probably want to be an actor or something.
Oh. Well, then I guess they do need people's attention.
Yeah.
Legend has it there's a place out west where you can order a cheeseburger and chicken fried steak at 3 in the morning. A place where the bartenders are old school and they unapologetically free pour cocktails in a bar where it's always happy hour. Well, folks, it turns out the legend is real. Don's Restaurant and Lounge has been a staple of Marysville, Washington since 1972, and the vintage decor reflects our dedication to maintaining that feeling of living in a simpler time. The dated dim light fixtures and the imperfect upholstery transport you back to a time where women were women and men were men, and anyone in between was committed. Our no-nonsense bartenders are sure to slay you with their small-town charm and beautifully imbalanced cocktails, and with Don's no-cutoffs policy, you can drink to your little heart's desire. No one's gonna tell you that you've had too much. So come on down to Don's Restaurant, located off 55X at 199 in Marysville. We have ample parking, great food, better drinks, and we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
What do you do for the Cosburger?
I suck at. I
Oh, what?
I just try to spread the word. You know?
Okay.
Here's what I try to do. I try to let people know that there's gays, and there's lesbians, and there's bis, which of course is just a code word for I just want to fuck everybody.
Yeah,
By the way,
that's called insatiable.
Yeah. By the way, is there anything? This might sound perverted, and even for me, it sounds kind of like I don't know how I'm going to be when I'm 70, but to me, when I see an old heterosexual couple, I think it's cute. When I see an old gay couple, I think it's gross.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
is that normal? Do you feel that way, or is that just me?
All old people look gross. I mean,
I was gonna say,
I don't think so.
yeah.
I think they're cute.
No. So I see an old heterosexual couple, and I go, ugh.
Oh, you do? I
Well,
see.
'cause I just imagine.
well, you can't imagine them having sex, and if you do, it's like,
And you start to,
I hope
you're like,
that's
oh,
not
I don't want
happening.
to see
Oh,
that.
so that's
Like,
the thing.
and then you start to wonder, because then you go into your head, you start to wonder, like, well, how do they initiate it? They're old. Like
Yeah,
I've
what
been
the-
around, like because then you think about, because then what you
Hey, toots.
initially, this is what you do, human nature wise, is you see two old people and you go, oh, they fuck, and then you start to imagine old people. Well, you're only old people that you've really ever been around. Most of us, you know,
Grandparents.
my point of privilege was being around grandparents. So you start thinking about your grandparents fucking. Because you're trying to think, because you're not necessarily like the details of them fucking, but more like how did it get there? You know, because
See, Burger likes thinking about his grandparents fucking.
I've been at
That's what he's saying.
I've been at my grandparents' house on a Saturday night. I know what they do on a Saturday night, and most of the time it's they go to bed, separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
So like, if all of a sudden it's their anniversary and they go to dinner or something, or if they are banging, like what? How do they even fucking initiate it? How does that even happen? I just feel like they're when you're old, you just don't bang, but apparently they do.
Well, some people do. I never thought about that. When I was a kid, my grandma would go to bed in the bedroom, and my grandpa would fall asleep on the Davenport with his oxygen in his nose. I never thought about anything like that.
I never said I thought about that when my grandparents were, or while both
Right,
my grandparents
as
were
a
alive and
child.
together as a child. I'm saying if I see an old couple and something comes up about them banging, or you even see an old couple on TV in a Cialis commercial, and you just immediately go, "How would old people banging? That's just so weird." And like, ugh, how does it happen? How do you initiate that? Because they're old, and old people, you know, a lot of times old people aren't sleeping in the same beds. Or if they are sleeping in the same bed, it's like, you know, they're old people.
Yeah, that's their bed. That's
It's
where they
their
sleep.
bed, and that's where they sleep.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Unless you're Mick Jagger, and then you're creating life.
But Mick Jagger's having sex with a fucking 25-year-old. It's disgusting. It's not like his wife is, or maybe his wife's like 30, but I looked it up. It was disgusting. And he has like a toddler, like a toddler
4-year-old,
child. Yeah.
Baby.
Oh, disgusting.
That's not disgusting. That's beautiful.
No, it's disgusting.
I think it's lovely.
It's disgusting. He was 50 years old when this woman was born. It's disgusting.
Hey, love is love.
17 years from now.
Burger says love is love, but he doesn't like to look at old gay
17 years
couples.
from now. Let's just put it this way. 17 years from now, if I was to do the Mick Jagger route, 17 years from now, my future wife is about to be born, who I would have children with when I'm in my 70s.
Well, shit.
Yeah, it's fucking gross.
Okay, well, when you're right, you're right.
When you put it
I
that
can't-
way.
I can't really argue with that. Here's a story that might be interesting to some people. Majority of Republicans support same-sex marriage for the first time, poll finds. Which I don't think this is... I think this is just the difference of what Republicans are now compared to what they were 10 years ago. Or
Right,
whatever.
it's called an evolving opinion. We're human beings. We do that. We're complex people. Opinions change, feelings change, stances change.
Mm-hmm. And Republicans aren't the same now as they were 10 years ago. Republicans now are a little more to the... I don't want to say to the left, but more tolerant because... They're more libertarian, I guess. The right has gotten more libertarian, I would say.
Okay. Next
The
topic.
right is always moving to the left.
Okay, next topic.
And the left is always moving more left. That's just the progressive and conservative.
And eventually, if you move too far left, you end up being right on the right. That's kind of how it's like a scrolling game. It's like
well, it can loop some ways.
That Mario extra feature on Mario 3. You know what I'm talking about? The one where you can run and you run off the screen and then you come out the other side.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
That's how the political spectrum is. At least they explain like that in poli-sci.
You run too far on Pac-Man, you go out the little slot
and
to the right, and you come out
side.
on the left.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
That's
it all comes full circle.
Yeah.
All right, here's a story from CNBC. A rainbow logo isn't enough. Why LGBTQ workers say some pride celebrations fall short.
How many more colors do you need to put on the flag then?
I think
there's not enough
they mean
colors.
more than the flag.
We need to create more colors.
We need to make more colors.
That's
you
right.
need to have like a
I
pastel kind of color in there, and you need to have like an Easter egg.
Just saying they
kinda
wanted
shit.
more than a flag. I didn't think they were saying the colors were bad.
Well,
What do they want? Like a crest?
I think
they want
like a
actual
shield?
change.
no, they want more action. I think is the thing.
They want Biden to become gay.
There you go. We need our first gay president.
Oh, okay.
There you go. And Biden's brains are so turned to mashed potatoes that he might turn gay one of these days. He'll be 81 years old and he'll be like, you know what? I've never had sex with a man before. I think it's time. And they'll be like, Joe, you're president of the United States and you're dying.
No one wants to imagine you having sex, Joe.
Nobody wants to think about that. You fucking disgusting bitch. June is LGBTQ Pride Month, chosen to commemorate the Stonewall riots that took place in New York City on June 28, 1969, in response to the police violence against LGBTQ people. God, no, it was against lesbians and gays. It's like it wasn't against trans and queer. And
What was it again?
1969. My old boss was there.
What
I
was
used
it?
to work in an antique store. The Stonewall riots.
Mm.
Yeah, my old boss was there. He's from the East Coast. When he was a youngster, he was at the Stonewall riots. He used to tell stories about it. But I don't think there was a lot of trans and queers and bis there. I think it was just a lot of gays.
Well,
A lot
maybe
of dudes
drag
that like
queens.
dicks. It was dudes that like dicks.
And probably drag queens.
Yeah. 1 year later, demonstrators organized a march down Christopher Street to celebrate Gay Pride, a protest.
We're here. We're queer. What you gonna do about it? We're here. We're queer. What you gonna do about it? We're here. We're queer. What you gonna do about it? We're here. We're queer. Stick the hoses on them. Oh no, my dress.
We're out of here.
They did have a good chant.
Some of them stuck around when they started getting hosed. They're like, we don't care if our jeans get stained. A protest that evolved into pride marches that could today be seen around communities around the world. Okay. The Stonewall riots were neither the first nor the only time LGBTQ people fought back against police harassment, and the fight for LGBTQ... I got it. Do I have to say this acronym every time? Is there a way to shorten this down?
Well, LGBTQ. I'm trying to think of like a.
Well, why don't you just say LG plus like you said before?
Yeah, LG plus.
No, that's not good enough. You need to have the full letters.
Yes,
I like
know.
to say LGBTQIA plus.
Hey,
Well,
but
that's
there's two
'cause I'm
Qs.
a supporter.
But it's offensive. If
I'm
you
an
use
ally.
Okay.
Well, I
But
said LGBTQIA.
If you use plus, it's offensive because then you're grouping a bunch of people
Yep.
who are important into one little plus.
Yep.
Would you?
Well,
would
God
you say,
damn it! I
would you
don't
s-
know.
Would you say the Black Latino plus community?
Why don't you just say the Pride community then?
Look at that.
There you go.
Fucking
Smart.
Tim. That's thinking. The
Mhm.
pride community. But that
God, what a genius.
but I can't have pride?
It's a different.
As a straight
Well,
man who
spell it
burps
with a
into the
Y.
microphone.
Can we spell it with a Y? Is that pushing it?
Pride.
PRYD. No E.
Here you go.
But why though?
All right. So
So that he can have pride and not complain. He's coming at me next.
Let's get to, because we're getting close to wrapping this up. So
Okay. I didn't finish this article. I mean,
we get it. We
Okay.
get it.
Okay, everybody's whining. I can smell
Yes.
your burp from here.
Good.
That was not me.
I can still smell it. I just took a big whiff.
Mm-mm-mm.
All right.
That's that guy over there.
Yeah.
Who do you think that would be? The Brute. I can smell it actually here.
Yeah,
It's starting to
expanded. It expanded. That was actually really. I'm actually really impressed.
That's a room-filling burp.
The intensity.
It smells good.
It does. It smells like 7-Eleven. You went to
I mean,
7-Eleven.
No,
He-
I didn't.
he
I
went to Leon's.
Oh, okay.
He got chicken bites or whatever. Popper.
I'm jealous. God, the projection.
What are we moving on to?
The next segment, the final segment of the week, the
Asshole.
Brute and the Fruit asshole
Okay, the Brute
of the week. Put some reverb on that in post,
Okay.
like echo.
All right. Here's a story from the New York Post.
Oh, wait! It's not the people that we were in that Facebook conversation with.
No.
Go on, because they're my runner up for asshole of the week for sure.
Oh, goddamn. Smart.
Those are just a lovely bisexual couple.
A gay passing or whatever it is, straight passing.
A straight passing bisexual couple.
That's such a weird way to like insert yourself.
I was really
Right.
confused by the
Twice.
passing. I
Right.
thought
You
it
already
meant-
said you're bi.
Yeah, and pan and fluid.
Oh no, or
But now
it's
you have
slash.
to double smash
Openly-
yourself. It's fuck you.
Open,
Fuck you.
fluid, openly experimented. Again, hey, asshole of the week, runner up, right?
Okay.
All right, runner up.
Let's
All
say
right,
the
here we
real.
Here's the
asshole.
winner of the asshole of the week.
Here's the story from the New York Post. Kayaker rescued by Coast Guard during failed 2,400-mile trip to Hawaii. All right, here we go.
Okay.
A kayaker trying to make a 2,400-mile solo trip from California to Hawaii had to be rescued by helicopter after making it just 70 miles.
That's not very far. I
This
mean,
guy
that's
makes it- this guy.
I never read this.
that's. I don't know if I would make it that far, but
The
out
guy
of the
made it-
2,400.
The guy made it
you're-
The guy made it 70 miles, but here's the thing: he was trying to go from fucking California to goddamn Hawaii. Like,
That's across the
what a fucking
Pacific
idiot.
Ocean. It's like
Yes.
that's halfway across the Pacific
It's
Ocean.
like he didn't think about it too
This
hard.
is his quote. Was his quote. It went from bad to worse. No fucking shit, you idiot! You're heading out into the middle of the goddamn ocean.
Who'da
You
thunk?
are an asshole.
You are an asshole.
You are a fucking. They should lock you up for your own good.
Yes.
You
Yes.
fall down a lot.
Yes.
You probably can't tie your own fucking shoes. You, sir, are an asshole.
Yes. And not just that, but a rapist
What?
of the resources that people have to use when they,
They
send out
should
a
have
helicopter
left
and
you out
taxpayer
there.
money.
They should have left you out there and suffered your own. What happened to facing the consequences of your own actions? That dipshit, they should have just said, you know what? Is he really worth saving? Someone with that kind of like stunted mental capacity, what can that guy really add to society? Some guy who's like, hey, I got this kayak I just bought at the fucking Kmart, and now I'm gonna go. I
Is
think I'm
that
gonna
really
go
the
to
whole
Hawaii.
story? Was this not planned out? Was this not official?
Well, let's continue. We'll see.
This guy sounds insane.
Okay, so he bought a kayak and tried to kayak from California to Hawaii. So we have to. That's insane.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Well, I don't know how many people do that. Is that
All
a
right,
thing?
a
Fax
solo
machine.
kayaking trip from California to Hawaii.
I don't know.
That's the entire ocean, dude.
That's the whole thing.
24.
It's
It's
almost
only
to
it's only
Japan.
the width of the entire United States. You know how long would that take? A month?
All right. Well, you can look it up, Mr. Fax Machine. So Cyril Demaru,
Oh,
Duremu,
Yeah.
that's his name. Is,
it's Duramano.
yeah, he's French.
Because the X at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, he said he set sail from the town Sausalito, California on May 31st, headed towards Hawaii. What was supposed to be an epic 70-day voyage across the Pacific. But his hopes of paddling solo from the mainland to the islands were cut short over the weekend by rough seas and high winds. No shit. Duramano was rescued 6 days after he set out.
Deramo.
I'm going to call him Geronimo.
Okay.
Fuck him. He doesn't deserve me to call him by the exact right name or spell it out phonetically. He had endured several problems in his 23-foot kayak. But when he lost his sea anchor, he knew it was time to abort his adventure.
Oh, you know it's been done once.
It's been done once?
Yep, in a kayak
Solo?
in 1987.
Okay. 34 years ago.
A guy kayaked from California to Hawaii. It has been attempted a couple times since.
What was when did he do it? What time of year was it?
Ed Gillette, the only kayaker to complete the route, completed the 2,200-mile trip in 63 days. San Diego native and 36 at the time, he expected the trip to last only 40 days. He arrived in Maui on a Thursday with an empty stomach, bloody hands from paddling, and relatives who feared he was lost. Basically, you gotta almost die to do it. Oh.
Bloody hands from paddling?
Like, yeah.
I don't know about that.
He was out there for 30 more or 23 more days than he thought he was going to be.
Okay.
So it's basically like paddle for your life.
Quote, it went from bad to worse very fast after that, he told the San Francisco Chronicle.
This guy sounds like a pussy.
He described on Facebook an increasingly dire situation as his kayak was pummeled by 4.5 meter high waves. It's like, no shit,
What?
you're in the middle of the ocean.
Was he updating his Facebook as he was in the middle of the ocean?
The vessel's anchor lines became entangled in the rudder, and his GPS stopped functioning. As we were working with my
GPS
team
and
on a
Gillette.
solution to this
I don't know
electronic
if he
problem, the general behavior of my kayak suddenly changed, which I immediately attributed to sea anchor damage, he wrote.
Hey, that makes a lot of sense.
In a few moments, my kayak was positioned almost parallel to the axis of the waves, and I found myself violently tossed from side to side, along with all the equipment that was stored in the cabin. It was a 23-foot kayak,
That's
so it
pretty
wasn't like
long.
he was in like some fucking dinghy that he bought from Kmart. But
It
anyways,
was like a 10-footer.
he continued, as night had just fallen, it was clear that the situation was just not sustainable. Inability to eat, drink, sleep, communicate easily with my team ashore. After consulting his land crew, Geronimo
if they're not with you.
phoned the Coast Guard for a rescue Saturday night about 70 miles west of Santa Cruz. A diver was lowered from a helicopter into the water and helped hoist Geronimo up.
So he was able
Dude,
to
this
communicate
Ed
with
Gillette was
shore.
a fucking badass.
Well, yeah, the dude fucking kayaked from California to Hawaii.
So
and
two
he made
parties
it.
since, not including this douchebag, asshole of the week.
Asshole of the week for sure.
He two
Asshole
parties
of
since
the week.
quit on their first day, just like this guy. But Geronimo. But Ed Gillette, he did it without a sat phone. They did not exist, and GPS was only available to the military in 1987.
Mhm.
So for this week's hero of the week, we're going to give it to Ed Gillette for heroically kayaking himself across the Pacific Ocean from
That's
California to Maui without GPS and without satellite phone.
Just a 20-foot Tofino double kayak.
That's right. And founded
Fucking
the
A.
Gillette Razor Company. Hero.
He founded Gillette Razor Company and went on to make millions because he's a hero.
Because he's a fucking hero. And this Geronimo guy, I hope he fucking chokes on his vomit while he's sleeping.
That's right. Again, to quote former First Lady of the United States, be better.
And to quote former First Lady of the United States, please let me out of my cage, Donald-san. Alrighty, we're going to go to the Brute and the Fruit email. That's brute.n.fruit@gmail.com.
Let's not have another screw up.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Our social media is brute_n_fruit
on Twitter.
At Twitter or Twitch. But this is our email, brute.n.fruit@gmail.com. This is from Nor Ply at StockX.com. Nor says, stop waiting. You only have until 12 p.m. Eastern time to sell any basketball box or lot for an automatic 25% off the seller fees.
You just read that?
Remember, your ask must be accepted within the above time frame to receive the discount. Thank you very much, Nor. We appreciate you listening to the show.
That's a promotional email from no reply at StockX.com.
No, it says it's a fan, Nor Ply at StockX.com. He must work there or something.
Yeah, that's why else
he just sent you a promotion.
I feel like that was I felt like that was to us. I mean, it said,
Yeah, it was
to the show.
That was the address.
I mean, he emailed the show.
Okay.
Anyways, Nor, we appreciate it. Email us back anytime. That's brute.n.fruit@gmail.com.
Please. We need to unsubscribe from that.
We'll always call you family at the Eagles, where a banquet room can be rented anytime. With a heavy pour and some love in a home-cooked meal. We'll put your plaque on the patio when you die. We'll always call your family at the Eagles. We'll always call your family at the Eagles. We'll always call your family.
很抱歉对我的错误。
Is that John Cena?
Play it one more time.
我很抱歉对我的错误。